What technical skills everyone should have at the moment?
I would say currently Agentic AI is on its peak, right? So the codes are same, like you need to know Python. It can build connections, internship. It can build your profile. It's going to build your skills. So these are the three things that you're getting, and these are three things that you need.
Do you have any message for them?
So one suggestion I would give here is that if it's not a big issue if you haven't worked with any big company.
Have you ever imagined, or have you ever given a thought that AI is for you and you are going to build AI?
So I just sent him a message that I want to opt into it, even though I have no idea what was the job. So I just want to see what's happening in the field.
And why AI? Because there are so many different degrees.
Yeah. As I told you, it was not that intentional. As I told you, I got that internship there, and then I start getting the clients. In 2022, in 2023, the AI booms came in. So previously it was mostly, conventional machine learning, computer vision, and deep learning.
Yeah.
And then there is a boom.
Gen AI.
So now we are riding that boom. So it's just like that. So specifically in University of Essex, there was a module that was on specifically intelligent systems.
Okay.
And that was more on Agentic AI side of things.
Okay. So welcome everyone to this podcast of Class of AI, and thanks for our sponsor Sensewise AI for sponsoring this podcast. And today with me I have our data scientist Malik Haider, and he graduated from the University of Essex. Yeah. And currently working as an AI data scientist for Royal Society of Bird Protection. And thanks for joining us on this podcast. So our conversation will be about your life, how you came from Pakistan, and you basically became a data scientist here in the UK. And also you got a global talent visa, which is one of the exceptional visa available in this country to work, which provides you freedom to operate. Yeah. So welcome on this podcast, Malik, and we would like to start with a bit of introduction. So can we have a gentle introduction of yours, please?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me at the podcast. As far as my introduction is concerned, so my name is Malik Haider. I graduated from NUST from Pakistan. I'm basically from Pakistan, and I've worked there for around 2 to 3 years. Then I came here in 2024. I graduated from University of Essex in Intelligent Systems and Robotics, and currently I'm working at RSPB on a global talent visa. So.
Where are you from Pakistan?
Yeah, I'm from Islamabad, basically.
Islamabad, all right.
Islamabad.
And you grew up in Islamabad?
No, my father was from army, so we were traveling here and there. So it was quite different, I would say, cities in Pakistan.
And you got schooling from multiple
cities
in Pakistan. Okay. What were you like a child?
Yeah, I was in the initial stages, I would say I was very average student, 60-70%. That was sometime I got 75 or 80%. So it wasn't I was so exceptional in studies. One thing was that I was a bit more conceptual in terms of studies. So even though in order to get into NUST, which is Pakistan #1 university for engineering and computer science, so the main thing is you need to pass the entry test, and the acceptance rate is I think less than 5%. So and you have to pass the entry test, which is completely conceptual. So even though my marks was not that good in college, but still I was able to get through this just because being conceptual and
Okay. Yeah. And when you were in Pakistan, have you ever imagined, or have you ever given a thought that AI is for you and you are going to build AI?
So what happened was that when I was doing my bachelor's, I had a senior, he was senior from my university. So I met him. So the way this thing works was like, he posted some job in the alumni group. So I just sent him a message that I want to like opt into it, even though I have no idea like what was the job. So I just want to see like, what's happening in the field. So he said that, okay, you can come, and there like they were completely working on robotics and AI, on deep learning, computer vision and these. So they're still operating very good in Pakistan. The company name is Iron. And I got the initial experience from there. I got the idea what the world is doing. It was like, it was my second or third year in university. And I was doing that internship, I would say. It was a kind of internship, but it was a great experience, because in university you were more like, it's more like, you can say it works on more academics. But when I go there, it really changed the perspective, like how things are working. And from there I started working on AI projects. I done my internship, and then I started like working with some foreign clients in USA. Based on that experience, I did my like a specialization from Coursera. You might heard about Coursera.
Yes, of course.
There's a very good professor named Andrew Ng, and I did my machine learning. And you know what? It took me around 5 to 6 months to complete that single one course.
Module.
So I was just focusing on that course, and it's not a good
great
thing. You need to focus on your studies on university, but I was totally focused on that specific side of things. And then from there, the journey started. I started working on projects. Then I got hired at a Microsoft-funded startup named Weblet. I worked there on AI projects specifically. That was research-based AI projects. Then, I started working at strategic marketing, and then I came to UK, did my master's, and then, now working at RSPB.
Great. And how it came to your mind that you are going to come to University of Essex for your master's?
So when I was when I was working with strategic marketing, it was a remote job, and I was actually engaged with multiple stakeholders. I was also doing some consultations with US clients and Australian clients. So what I found out was that there is a demand of specializations. When you talk to somebody, when you are doing your introduction, there is it's not explicit, but there is an implicit demand for having a master's degree or a specialization degree. That was one major thing. And I would say the second thing was having an experience in a bigger market like UK or USA. So I applied for USA, some of the USA universities, and applied here for UK as well. I got accepted here, and so.
That's great. And why AI? Because there are so many different degrees.
Yeah. As I told you, it was not that intentional. As I told you, I got that internship there, and then I start getting the clients, or I got my job as well in that specific domain. So since in the university, the last 2 years we spent, I was totally involved in AI projects. I was totally into it. So specifically in deep learning and computer vision based projects. So from there it happens that I said that, okay, so I have that experience. So now once I graduated from my university, like the bachelor's, then I just think that this is my thing, I would say. And from there I started. I graduated in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2022, in 2023, the AI booms came in. So previously it was mostly, conventional machine learning, computer vision, and deep learning.
Yeah,
and then there is a boom.
Gen AI.
So now we are riding that boom. So it's just like that. So yeah.
So what expectation did you have before coming to Essex? It may be a kind of a cultural shock, or what type of expectation you have from the university, for example, a cultural change, what type of modules, how intensive it will be?
I think it's really changed the vision. I would say the coursework is the same. Even in Pakistan, it's more tough, in universities. So, but overall, when I came here, I see the market. I see the students from different different cultures, different domain. So what really like changed my whole perspective was, how the world is seeing, like what exactly needed in the market. And during my master's, so what I worked on was really on my personal development skills rather than more on technical skills. So definitely coming to University of Essex, meeting people from different countries. In University of Essex, you can find people from any country.
Exactly.
It's very, very multicultural, I would say. So based on that specific thing, really like having that community really, like, shows you, like, you need to improve on the things. So yeah.
Okay. Continuing from that, which module make a biggest impact on your journey within this university?
Specifically in University of Essex, there was a module that was on specifically intelligent systems.
Okay.
And that was more on Agentic AI side of things.
Okay, great.
And specifically, I would say, it's just not about module. If you learn something and then you imply it, like, as I told you, I was working on some projects and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was actually doing the implications on the real, world scenarios. So that actually, like, not just academia, like connecting academia with the real world implications was something which really helped me. Yeah.
Were there any lecturers or mentor, would you say, who helped you specifically in your journey?
Yeah, definitely you. So yeah. So just to give you guys an introduction. So I did my research, and we have published a research paper. So me and Heather, so we did that together. So definitely that was a real experience, I would say, since you was working with some healthcare in the healthcare industry, and specifically in India, so, and different clinics. So that the research paper that we worked on, like the way we have gathered the requirements, the way we have, like, the motion of the project. So yeah, definitely that was one thing that was really critical, I would say.
So for let's say for the incoming students who are about to take admission in any university in the UK or abroad, do you think is it good if they make a sync with their mentors or lecturers? Because here lecturers or professors, they are basically too busy in researching the topics and publishing in the area. So do you think this is a good culture over here because you get that hands-on experience where you can apply your technical skills in solving real-world problems?
I think this is a very, very important question, and the new students that are coming. So what happens that when it comes to their project, like the dissertation project or their main final year project or something, what happens that they choose a project that is in their mind, that has nothing to do with maybe the real world implication, or some of them might try to, like, choose the easy one. So it's not about the easy one or the difficult one. I think what someone needs to do who's a student who has to choose a project, like, they need to choose it based on the real world implication, and also they need to choose a professor who is actually connected to the people outside the university, like to the real world industry, like you were connected to the healthcare domain, like, on a very vast. So when you're working on some project and you're getting the real world feedback on that specific thing, you actually get an organizational experience, like, instead of just an academic project. And that's something which really, like, you can publish it, you can actually show the world that this is what I have worked on, this is what I have developed, instead of, like, if you just compare it, you have developed something which is on which you have spent a lot of time, but it has nothing to do with any real world implication. So number one point, the thing that you're working on should be connected to the real world. By real world, I mean should be connected to some of the stakeholders that are like, that are more concerned about that specific problem statement, so that you can get the real feedback. And then the second thing that is very important is having that professor who can help you in that specific thing, who can support you. And the third thing, adding one more, which is like you need to be very proactive. Like, it shouldn't
Completely.
be like, you come to your professor saying, oh, I have this issue, I have this issue, I have this issue. You need to be a problem solver. That's the main goal, I think.
And that's what we love.
Yeah.
In the students, what we love is not just spoon feeding them.
Yeah, exactly.
You just guide them and they will solve the problem.
Exactly.
They'll program it. They'll engineer the problem. That's very important.
And same, like I'm working with RSPB, right? So if I have to ping my line manager on every single problem, and I have to just tell them the issues, like no one enjoys that environment.
Exactly.
Right. So you need to be pushy on the things, on your own internal side of things. Like, for example, let's say I don't know anything about Agentic AI, right? And I got the project, like me and you are working in, let's say, in my dissertation project. So what I need to do is I need to spend day and nights on learning first, like the basics. Like basics shouldn't be asked from you.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have time. So same as the case, you need to be more proactive. Everything is available on YouTube. There are courses. You need to be like, on hands on the things.
Yeah.
And then it should be something like that. Yeah.
And that's great. And if I ask you, what was the biggest challenge being a student here or anywhere in the UK? Have you experienced any challenge?
Okay, so obviously, challenge is, let's say a student came here, like they did their bachelor's, and after bachelor's they just came here for master's, right? So they expect that they will get the job, or like people have different visions, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to run your own company or your own startup, or you want to you want to get a job in some good companies, right? So the problem is every company asks for like one of the like realistic scenarios for sponsor, like you need to be already sponsored. Like no one wants to sponsor you unless you got into Google or Apple or something. So even though some of their jobs needs the sponsors, So the main thing is how we can cover that specific gap. Like obviously when you are in the interview, you need to create that kind of value that they just want to go with you, right? Yeah. So one thing is that like which helped me was I just didn't came from bachelor's and just did my master's and started doing that. What I did was like I was in the industry. Even during my bachelor's studies, I was more focused on the real world implications and how I can use the knowledge that I've got, and also learning more. Still, I'm learning. Yeah. So that was the main thing that I worked there during my bachelor's. Then I worked around 2.5 years in the real company, got the experience. When I get into my master's, I was already an experienced person in some specific domain. So after master's, when I was sitting in the interviews, right? So I know what is stakeholder management, what is the feedback gathering, what is the implementation. So it's just not about the tech, it's about how to.
Yeah, and I completely agree. The reason is that because I have seen people or organizations where they don't only want technical skills, they want people who can manage the project, who can communicate well with the team, adapt to the culture, and this is very well respected here. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And my next question to you is, for example, if I send you back to the first week of your in Essex, what you have done differently?
I would say I'm a bit of introvert, so I connected to the people, but on a very, very limited, I would say. So I would have built a more kind of still as I told you, coming to an international university is not more about you'll be told you'll be getting a completely different course that is not available nowhere in the world. This is not the case. So what you need to do is, I would say, I will connect more with the people.
Yeah, so building connections, connecting to the people.
Yeah, exactly. And networking. Yeah. And even though still I'm doing my job, but I'm going to different events in London,
multiple events goes on every day.
Every day, like OpenAI, Claude, Versal,
Yeah.
You can name the big companies they are like just operating. So connecting to the people, knowing what they are doing, telling them like this is what we are doing, and if they are doing something well, getting the input from them as well. So definitely,
Good.
Yeah.
So what was your typical day like, currently being an AI data scientist?
Yeah.
How you spend your day?
So it's just like normal job routine, right? So it's 9 to 6, normally 9 to 5, sorry. So we have meetings going on with stakeholders. We are getting the feedbacks and doing the implementation. We are currently working on narrative intelligence platform. So it involves around more than 50 stakeholders in the project. So it's more like having the meetings, implementations, that's the kind of thing, and it's kind of normal, I would say. Apart from that, after in the evening, like normally I go for some kind of like events that are happening, as I mentioned earlier. So
That's great. And have you joined any society here in the university?
Yeah, it's like I'm in the SU society.
Does it make any difference, or it create noise because you have to be focused?
Yeah, I would say it really helps. I've seen the people, like in terms of again networking and everything.
Yeah.
But I would say I am not more into it.
Yeah. Okay. And what helped you being keeping yourself motivated? What you do?
For self-motivation, the most important thing is you should have a plan, and then you stay motivated. Like, what I normally do is, I would say I'm not the perfect on this one, but still I have some plans like months, weeks, and then in days, and then I try to execute those.
Do you reflect on those plans? Like, for example.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
I mean, because what I found in my work is that, you know what you are going to achieve within the week, and by the end of the day or end of the week, you have to review that, what is in your calendar, what you have planned, have you achieved that or not? Because that's very important. Now, that's very great. Okay, so the next part is being one of the recipients of Global Talent Visa, which is one of the exceptional case, because it gives you a freedom to work here in the UK as an AI data scientist, and it gives you a route to settlement as well. And coming from a different country and getting such a visa and to work, in such a prestigious organization such as Royal Society of Bird Protection, it's one of the achievements you have got. So for me, the first question is when you started applying the jobs, because I remember you came to the uni and you joined in somewhere in September, and by the term of next year, September, you were about to finish your course, right? So when did you apply for the jobs?
Yeah, I've started right after, I would say, a month or 2 months when I get into university, and I will say to viewers as well, like they should start applying right after that. Even though, so don't consider it that you want the job on the next application. The main thing is like you will know that okay, so what's the most optimized way to get into the interviews, right? And once you are in interviews, even you are failing those interviews, it's completely fine. You will learn. So one thing I would say is that in every interview, if you're not getting into it, you're actually doing some mistakes. So you should reflect back to those mistakes and try to improve those. So that's very important.
That's very important,
yeah.
And like, for example, how many applications? Because I have seen students of mine, and because I mentor a couple of people who come to Sensitize AI and through the university as well, and they tell me that they have applied for hundreds of jobs. Like,
I
for
know
example,
people who have done 200, 300.
Yeah, it means because I have some students, like, means, and still they are applying for jobs. And as I have said, sponsorship is one of the biggest issue. They clearly see that you don't have a sponsorship, they do not entertain you. So, like, in your experience, ideally, how many applications?
I would say I got a bit lucky in this specific side of things. I have like around I've done maybe 40, 50.
Okay.
And out of like I've got maybe 6, 7 interviews.
All right.
And yeah, I got this one. But I know people who are on PSW, like post-study work visa, and they've been doing it for last around 1 year, 2 years. The main thing is like there are two specific problems right here. So like there is a graduate, like he's just done the bachelor's and he was applying continuously for 3-4 months. He got the internship in the Citibank, right? So now he's getting the path, he's getting on the path, right? But at the same time, I know a guy who has been doing for 2 years. So it's not just about like doing the applications. It's more about like, when someone is posting the job, you need to understand what they need.
Yeah.
You need to put your CV according to that, so that it catches the eye of recruiter and you get into the interviews. Still, getting the interview is also not the issue. But here is the case. You are from AI background, right? So if someone with no experience came in front of you, you will directly know that, okay, so this is not the person who I can work with.
Yeah.
So people start applying for the jobs, but at the same time they're not working on their skills.
Their skills, yeah. That's
Okay.
I completely
So let's
agree
say
with
you have applied for 2 years, and in 2 years all you did was applications.
Just
You
applications.
haven't
You haven't improving your skills.
Improving your skill. You haven't worked on what's going on in the world. You're just putting in the CVs those terms. So that really makes the difference.
And as you have said that you have applied nearly 45 to 50 applications.
Yeah.
Have you learned any lesson? Because those people who are watching and they are going to apply some jobs,
Yeah.
do you have any message for them?
I would say one of the major issues, everyone wants experience, right? So one suggestion I would give here is that if it's not a big issue if you haven't worked with any big company. That's not a big issue. What you can do is you can see what's going on, make your LinkedIn profile strong, and do some projects, like your own projects, right, that are connected to some real world use cases, right? And create an ICP. It's you're a customer in front of a company when you are applying, right?
Yeah.
So they are considering that what's the best profile that we can get to work with, right? So you need to make, let's say if someone is working in hiring for AI in healthcare industry, and if you have been working for let's say 1 to 2 years when you are applying on some healthcare projects, even those are the personal projects, you can get you can really get a difference between the person who just applied by a random CV and the person who has just applied with a very good one.
That's great. Okay, so now what technical skill helped you the most? So currently what you have learned here in Essex and from your background as well, what technical skills everyone should have at the moment?
You mean in AI, what technical skills are needed? I would say currently Agentic AI is on its peak, right? So the codes are same, like you need to know Python, you need to know about what
databases.
specific databases, like relational, non-relational databases, and also specifically if we talk about you need to know about a bit more about, I would say, the core principle. For example, if we talk about LLM, so if you're saying you are an AI engineer, you must know about transformer models. You need to know a bit in depth about the things, because that's where it really makes the difference, because then you can actually solve the problem when the problem arises. You know what's the issue, and you can come toward the root cause analysis of that specific system. That's one thing. Coming back to the question, so Python in Agentic AI, lang chains, lang graphs, vector databases, some already managed databases like Supabases. All the, you can just ask ChatGPT in 2025 what I need in AI, being an AI engineer. It tells you the whole stack.
Exactly.
What you can do is ask Claude, okay, build a course for me that will go step by step with me, and just configure your Claude in Visual Studio and just go step by step.
Exactly.
You can go through the whole course, I would say that's going to be the best course of your life. You know, it's going to ask you the questions. It's going to write the code, and then it's going to ask again the question from that code, like what I have written. Did you understand it? And when you build the pipelines in that way, those pipelines are going to be very solid. And when you get into real world industry problem statements, you will actually know, like, you know, what you can develop. And yeah, if someone asks you, like, can you build the things on scale?
Yeah.
You can, because then you have actually gone through theoretically, like, what's the issue. For example, I'm not sure if we have time. So for example, if we talk about specifically the problems that came in, right? So you can ask, you can learn from the theory, from the internet, like what are the main things that can make me build an application that can be used by millions of users.
Yeah.
It can gives you all the cases. It will give you all the edge cases. And then this is how, like, you know, things are going. Yeah.
And in terms of that, as you have talked about LLM, I have seen people, and I have given the training as well to a couple of organizations, and prompt engineering is one of the important topic, because if you don't know, because according to me, LLMs are an isolated brain, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't ask right questions to those LLMs in a right way, you won't get the proper answer. So for you, those who are preparing for jobs and for basically for their courses, or even to come to the UK to study somewhere in the university, do you think prompt engineering is one of the key skill everyone should have?
I would say, if let's say prompt engineering is important for everyone, I would say, in any domain.
Exactly.
You know, everyone is using, the companies are adopting the LLMs. They can have their, like, you know, have the cloud subscriptions given to their employees, or any specific. So prompt engineering is very important in terms of interpreting, like, how model works.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, if you are an AI engineer, you need to know about a bit more.
Good,
you know.
good. Okay, so now jumping to your work, where you work, how was your feeling when you got your first job in the UK in RSPB? So when you got an email or a phone call, I'm not sure what you got. How was that moment, and how you enjoyed and celebrated it?
You know, it was a quite, like, you know, a long process.
Yeah.
I won't say long, but it was some stages, you know, you need to pass through it. So for every stage, you, like, you know, you are happy, but you are, like, you know, a bit afraid, like, what happened next, you know.
Exactly.
But once I get through it, definitely I would say it was really a movement, you know, because when you came from Pakistan, came here for university, it was a really kind of an ideal scenario.
Exactly.
So like during my like in the last month of my master, I got the job. So really it was something which can be explained, you know.
That's great. And your family is happy too, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So working as a scientist, AI scientist at RSPB, what exactly you do there in RSPB as an AI scientist?
Yeah, I'm building a software basically on understanding. It's basically an agentic AI system.
Okay.
I can't disclose much about it because it's
Completely
going to be used by internal
organization. Yeah.
But it's more about gathering the data, doing the analysis on that specific data, and the data is not just like it's images, text, NLP based pipelines, and all those kind of things. Yes. So yeah, I would say I can't disclose it, but it's an intelligence platform based on the data, and on big data.
Because you generally don't see, means wildlife or conservation type of organizations hiring these AI data scientists. So what do you think? How AI is helping this nature side, environmental side, wildlife, farmers?
Yeah, RSPB was built back in 1898, so it's more than, I would say, 100 and it's more than a century, right? Yeah. So the people there are very experienced in their specific domain, but in the last 5-10 years things are bit changed in terms of technology, and everyone has to adapt toward it, right? So my role is, I have two roles. One is building that software, other one is transformation.
Yeah, digital transformation, AI transformation.
Yes. So definitely it's a conventional organization working with different people with their experience. Like people have, I know the people in RSPB that have been working in RSPB from last 30, 40 years. So definitely it's really something good.
Yeah. Okay. So what machine learning technique you often use in your work?
So definitely if we talk about machine learning, in this specific project, it's more like NLP and Agentic AI. So it's not more about machine learning.
Yeah.
Like, building multiple.
So you're more basically, you are doing kind of a workflow automation and bringing autonomy into that, and not making predictive, or is there any form of predictive analytics included into that?
We have that specific part for sentiment analysis specifically. It's not like general sentiment analysis, very specific sentiment analysis on specific domain. So we're going to touch that in the start of the next year.
All right.
Yeah. Currently we are using some specific standard models, but the main, as you know, I've just joined 6 months back. So the main idea is to build the MVP that is going to get used, and we are very near to it. We're just deploying the things.
Okay.
So yeah, and after that we'll be working on specifically the models.
Good.
Yeah.
And in 8 hours of your day, generally on an average, how much time you spend on coding?
I would say it's not that much. It's maybe 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And rest is about managing project.
You need to talk to your manager, you need to update, you need to gather the feedback and all those kind of things.
And one thing I forget to mention, that this job is a part of knowledge transfer partnership, which is one of the USP of the university, where basically we are the top in the UK who have most K3P project in any university in the UK. And as a knowledge transfer, do you basically, you are responsible for transferring the knowledge from academia to the RSPB, right? How challenging it is to convince people behind the RSPB, because I know you interact with people handling governance, security, policy making. So how challenging it is to convince them and to show the bigger picture that what you can achieve?
So it's about, that's something which I learned in the first 2 to 3 months. It's not about just telling them what you are doing and how things are going to get changed after this software or after that implementation. It's just first asking them what they think about this thing, right? So whenever, like currently we are working with more than, as I said, 50 stakeholders. So we weren't like that we have build the POC and we just go to them and show them that this is the POC. Because then everyone feels like left behind,
definitely.
No one is taking the interest. So initially we created a steering group. I think this is very important. So initially the steering group help us in a way that in the first meeting we just tell them the idea and then what they think about the idea. And we just clearly ask them, do you think it's useful or not, right? And basically that idea came from one of the senior management in RSPB, and then that executed, and then I was hired and all that stuff. So we just gather the sentiment of the people, like what they think about, because everyone was very worried about like how AI is going to replace and stuff like that. So so we were not using the term AI or any flashy terms, to afraid other people, or to make them feel that okay, so this is going to replace ourselves. So what we have done was we tell them, okay, so this is going to make your life better, okay, and it's not going to, it's something which is really going to increase the productivity so that you can work on some other things, right? So that really helped us making the relationship. It's just not about like gathering the feedback. We meet very often, so it's just like it's the same project. It's not an anomaly in a company. So it's the same project. They understand the worth of it. And so
okay, good. So in terms of generative AI, the use of generative AI, because it's a question coming from AI readiness, right? Because we work very closely on AI readiness, and AI readiness is, I believe, one of the key assessment which every organization should do, right? And because what I have seen, I have learned from experience is that organization generally don't fail because of technology in AI adoption. They fail because sometimes their culture is not ready, sometimes their people is not ready, sometimes their data is not ready. There are so many different pillars which need to be measured. And in terms of generative AI, how you think your organization is ready in adopting AI?
Okay, when we break this readiness, right? So I can give you my recent example. So it took us around 2 to 3 months to make them understand what and how things are going to help them, like, in using AI, right? Without using the word AI, right? I would say, because AI itself is nothing if you are not actually making something better in someone's life, right? So what we have done was, and just connecting this to the question you have asked, so it's very, very important. Like you asked, like if they are culturally ready or not, right? So you need to understand that, okay, so if it is a bigger organization, you need to divide it into departments. You need to find the people who are more interested, and then you need to train those people. First of all, whatever, like let's say if some XYZ company is hiring an offshore team, right, for AI, and they said that, okay, we are going to, it shouldn't work like that. I would say, first of all, everyone in the team, or at least the management, should be really aligning this on the lower grounds of the company, that, okay, so this is going to happen. What do you think? What's your feedback? Taking the feedback, creating a proper, I would say, documents. Like where it's going to help, where it's going to create hiccups in the whole thing, and who are the people who are more interested in AI and more interested, so that they can influence others and they can tell the value of it. Then once you have all that knowledge base, you need to then connect it to any AI engineer or all that, so they know that, okay, so this is the whole background. So
makes sense. Okay, good. Okay, so now looking back, right, just as a reflection, looking back, what you are most proud of your life so far?
You asking from technical side or in general?
Generally.
I would say building a home for my family. I would say, that's something which was really,
Okay, and my next point is what's something you wish that you have told somebody when somebody's joining the university. So what suggestion would you like to give to them?
Focus on your academia. That's really helpful. Get very good grades. That's really helpful. Like this is also very, I would say, few people says that, it's not
grade doesn't
important.
matter, but it matters, like sometimes, because
for some it doesn't matter because they got their way out.
Exactly.
Right? But it really matters. That's one thing. But on the side, you have a lot of time that you can spend on building your skills. For example, in a week you have 5-6 classes, right? And obviously you have to prepare for that, everything, but you have time, I would say, and you need to build your skill. Just pick one thing and just start working on it, I would say. Because it's just like you're gathering the whole academia inside you and you're not using it anywhere, and then eventually you're going to,
So my next question is, what is the biggest lesson you have learned since graduating, and would you like to convey to your audience?
Again, the lesson is that the most important thing is, if you are in some specific domain, you should make a difference in terms of, it could be your communication, it could be your skill, it could be anything, so that you can be seen from the crowd. There's a lot of people who need the same thing, so you need to create the difference. That's the main thing.
Good point. So how has success changed for you?
I didn't get the question.
So means you got bit of a success by cracking your job, getting a global talent visa. Now means people have a strategy that they move forward and they keep their target away from them, so they keep moving. So for at the moment, how has success changed for you? Like, got my point?
Yeah, I would say getting a job, all of this is, I would say, the part of process. And the main thing is, it's not about getting a job, it's about building something which you can be proud of. building some product, like for example at strategic marketing we build a product that is being used by 500 businesses. Currently we're building a plan that is going to help at least 5,000 employees of RSPB. We are connecting to some other organization all over the world so that they can use our system as well. So actually the main success is like, building something that is being used and that's actually helping the other people.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay, so very quickly, because we are conscious of time, right? So advice to the current students. I'm going to ask you a few questions because they are studying. So if you could give 3 pieces of advice to students, what would will be?
Number 1 is obviously academia is very important. You need to focus on that and focus on, and then from that specific thing, focus on the subject specifically that you are interested in, right? So once you have done that, along with that, you should start working on some specific skills. That's the very, very important thing. Again, I'm repeating these things, but that's the key thing I would say. And then the third thing is that build your personal communication skills. Personal development is very important because in India, Pakistan, there are a lot of developers. A lot. So some of them obviously don't get the opportunity, but some of them might be facing the issues on the side of personal development. So we usually don't, when we are in tech domain, it's not about India, Pakistan, everywhere. We are more focused toward our tech side of things, but we are not focused about the personal. I'm still not good at that. I'm still working on it, but definitely these are the 3 things.
Okay. And reflecting upon your response, like if as an AI scientist, how would you balance? How would you ratio soft skill and technical skill to survive in the UK?
I would say in UK you need soft skills. You need a lot. So I'm a bit biased, but I would say you need 55%, like that specific thing matters.
And 45%
because when the main thing is if you want, let's say if you want to work at some company or something, you need to pass the interview.
Exactly.
When you have to pass the interview, you need to talk.
You need to communicate. You need to sell yourself.
You need to know. You need to know. It's like that. You need to know what the other person wants and what the other person thinks, and you need to communicate in that way. You need to stop at some point. So all of these things are the part of communications, and then the remaining is obviously if you're talking without knowledge, then that is also look a bit dumb, I would say. So technical skills, I would say 45, 55.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so in terms of internship, because sometimes student gets an opportunity to do internships. Do you think internships is a good way to understand the market and to understand the culture?
Again, coming back to the core thing, you need to improve your skill. It could be using internship. It could be like you're learning on your own. But internship is something which can really, it can build connections. Internship, it can build your profile. It's going to build your skills. So these are the 3 things that you're getting, and these are 3 things that you need. So definitely, and I would say make your LinkedIn strong. Right.
But the problem is that, sorry to just say, but the problem is that nowadays what I have seen, that everyone is too dependent on Claude, ChatGPT, my Copilot, these type of tool, and you just scrap your profile on LinkedIn and say, what shall I do? And if everybody will repeat, the market will become generic.
I'm not talking about like posting general things.
No, I'm just saying, as you said, you said that your LinkedIn profile should look very nice. Okay. I'm asking an AI to help me to make my profile nice. It will become. Hopefully you will get shortlisted. But when you are going to face the interview, it's not an AI. Maybe your first interview will be through AI, but second, third or fourth round, you have to face people. You have to adapt that culture. You have to be soft spoken. You have to be well adapted. So how important, as you have said, you have said 55%. I completely agree with you. But any piece of advice how this can be improved?
So first of all, you shouldn't apply for a very senior level or mid-level jobs if you don't have experience. You cannot defend it, right? Like anybody who is doing that cannot defend it. So you should first of all go for graduate jobs or the junior level jobs. First of all, that's the one thing. Again, as I explained earlier, do some personal projects on some personal level so that you have at least something to show, right?
Yeah.
And make them as good as like your production projects. So that's very important to have, like, with in your portfolio. Like, build your portfolio. So it's not about just building the LinkedIn. Build your portfolio, and believe me, when you're talking, you'll be talking with evidence in the interview. When you're communicating, you will be communicating with in depth, right? You're just not doing the interview. Yeah.
And my last question in this section is, because sometimes the students come from humble background, right? And they have to self-finance themselves, because the cost of studying in the UK is not that cheap, especially in AI. The fees are gone above. So how challenging it is to survive yourself, to sustain yourself within current
it
market.
is challenging, I would say, specifically the people that are coming from, let's say, India, Pakistan, or the countries like that, right? So most of them who come, like, who has to pay their fees on their own and things like that, they have to do some odd jobs, and that's where, like, actually they don't get the time.
And I have seen that, because sometimes students become, there is no harm to deliver pizza, to work in restaurants and to work in security and somewhere. But problem is that you have to balance yourself. You cannot compromise that, because your main objective over here is to study, learn, and improve your skills. And if you focus on earning money, that's
I would
not
say
what you are.
there are different ways, right? Different people have different journeys. For example, some of them just came there, they got the jobs. Those are quite rare, right? Like, with no experience, they got the job. These are quite rare cases, but still they're doing something different. They're doing certifications, things like that, right? That works for them, and that's good, right? But I've seen people who have to earn here, right? So, and you cannot sustain, and you have pressure.
Exactly.
When you have pressure, you have to work, right?
Exactly.
When you want to work, then you are basically, since you're not giving that much energy, and let's say you're spending 1 hour in applications, and you're just randomly putting the CVs, and then you're saying that it's not. So I think still you have to balance it at somewhere.
Okay.
But again, different people have different circumstances. It's not about, like,
Exactly.
And journey is, like, everyone has different journey. So you cannot say something very rigid that this is the way.
Okay. So before we finish, let's do a quick rapid fire round. Right. And I will ask you a few questions, and you have to just answer them, whatever comes in your mind. Right. So, tea or coffee?
Tea.
Python or R?
Python.
Okay. VS Code, PyCharm, Colab, what do you do?
VS Code.
Do you prefer remote working or from basically or going to the site?
I would say hybrid.
Hybrid. Okay. That's good. Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Early bird. Good. Your favorite AI tool?
Claude.
Okay. Favorite book?
It's Trade in the Zone. It's something different, I would say.
Okay, that's good. And favorite podcast?
This was my first podcast. Like, you're
but
talking
you often listen to some podcasts.
There is an Indian podcast going on Netflix. Like, I think Indian Got Talent or Latent something.
Okay. Okay, fine. And any dream company to work?
Google, maybe.
Good. And one AI technology that excites you the most?
Agentic AI, I would say.
Agentic AI.
Yeah.
And after Agentic AI, what do you think? What it's going to be?
I would say right now we are working on software level. Next is going to be on hardware level, like robots with AI and all that stuff.
All right. So you're saying physical AI?
Yeah, physical AI.
Okay. One habit that changed your life?
Getting up early.
Getting up early. So as you said, you are a night owl. Okay, fine. Okay. So last question. Imagine AI disappeared.
Yeah.
There is no AI.
Yeah.
What career would you choose?
What career I would choose? Okay, so you're talking just from LLM's perspective?
No. AI disappeared.
Yeah.
There is no AI. Computer science is there, but no AI.
I never thought about that.
Anything you like the most? For me, I can tell very frankly.
Yeah, I was quite interested in sports in the
Sports.
past.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe in some sport or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So yeah, thanks Malik for your quick rapid fire, and
Thank you.
it's a pleasure having you on this podcast
Thank you.
and sharing your journey.
Yeah, again.
One of the exceptional journey from my students or my associate.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to have you on this podcast.
Thank you.
And yeah, means keep doing well in your life and make your
Yeah.
family and friends proud.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.